Hey guys, so WalterFootball.com After Dark show for August 29, 2024. We're going to be doing another 2024 fantasy football mock draft here. Going to post the link here in the chat so you guys can jump in before everyone else on Twitter and Facebook. So I'll intro and then post it there if we haven't had a full room yet. So please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would be appreciated. As you can see here, we have a ton of t-shirts here, $17, $18. In this economy, it's just a great deal, especially with this shirt here. 1840 for September is Lust Month. Lust rights are human rights, and you can let everyone know with this t-shirt. So, actually, my father-in-law was wearing this t-shirt around. He said he wore it to the gym, and he got some awkward looks, but then someone laughed at it. So I always say that, like, you can learn who your friends are and who your enemies are very quickly by wearing shirts like this. So that's a benefit from it. Plus, I've worn these shirts for like 3, 4, 5 years, as you can see here, like proof here. These shirts don't wear away. Cassandra can vouch. They're high quality shirts. So 17, $18 in this economy is a good deal. Also, please consider super chats, super stickers. We had a bunch of great super chats yesterday. I think like 4, one from Germ, one from actually can't remember. We had two new ones. Actually think 3 new ones. No, we had it's killing me here. So we had two old ones and two from new people in the chat. So any further contributions would really be appreciated. You guys have been awesome with your contributions. So all that would be great. It really keeps the show going because YouTube ads pay nothing. Also, please consider super chats. Super stickers, and also buying my book Jerks of the College Years on Amazon. It's $13.99 here. As you can see, I met a lot of weird people at Penn State. I wrote all about them in Jerks of the Week style. So if you like Jerks of the Week, you'll like Jerks of the College Years. Also, how the 2020 MVP was stolen. This is the expose I wrote about how Brett Favre tried to steal Aaron Rodgers' MVP. It is quite the story if you haven't read it. So check it out. But without further ado, we have Kenny Ortiz, the president of thecapIsFake.com. Kenny, how's it going?
Oh, bro, life is grand. I'm just hanging out, drinking Gatorade, watching my son sleep or not so sleep on our baby monitor here. So listen, when you're a dad and a podcaster, you gotta sometimes you gotta podcast and watch your baby on the baby monitor. And this joker refuses to sleep. Go to sleep, kid. Anyway, other than that, life is good.
It was a rough night last night. So I did the mock draft with Dave yesterday, and I thought, like, hey, let me unwind here for like 15 minutes. I decided to play Mario Golf for like 15, 20 minutes, and then I was like, I'll get back to work. And as soon as I finished like the 8th hole or 9th hole, my daughter starts screaming, and like sometimes she goes back to sleep. But after a while, I decided to get her, and she threw up all over her crib. It was disgusting. And then the next morning, my son throws up. So it was brutal. I don't know. And then my wife also got sick. So like I think they ate something bad that I did not. So luckily, I was able to remain unscathed. But the rest of my family was in rough shape. I actually thought I might have to reschedule the show tonight, but everyone felt better by the evening. So I think it was like a 24-hour stomach bug. So yeah,
just your rock solid immune system, Walt, that was able to fight it off. That's all it was.
That's right. It's all the cookies and soda I drink. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, it's funny that we both have baby monitors here. So I'm gonna post my my mock draft link here, and hopefully we get a full room here quickly. We have looks like we have 4 spots left. Patrick says, Walt, in 12-team half PPR, I got Jefferson, Waddle, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Joe Mixon, Marquise Brown, Chuba Hubbard, Palmer, Aaron Jones, Jordan Love, Cole Kmet. That looks like a stacked team. That looks like a 10-team league team, doesn't it? He's got so many good players. Like Jefferson and Waddle. Jefferson, Waddle, and Jacobs. That trio looks awesome. And then he also got Aaron Jones on top of that, and a good quarterback. So what do you think about this team? I like it a lot.
Again, it's always hard to judge a team without seeing what was on the board when you selected. But yeah, generally, if you spent your first round pick on Jefferson and then on Waddle and then Jacob in the third, and I'm just looking at the team there. That feels like, Did you get Mixon in the 5th? I mean, it feels.
Yeah. Either,
Yeah, I mean,
it could be Mixon in the 4th or Jones in the 5th, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, that's no, that is definitely awesome. Masai says reach second round. He's not as not a surprise from Matthias. But hold on. So who's this? Yeah, he's complaining about Jacobs, so not a surprise. He said Patrick says I also had a 24-hour bug last week. Load up on some zinc and vitamin C. That's the good stuff. I had like the worst stomach bug. It was the night Michigan won the national championship. I had some. There's this great Mexican restaurant near my house, and a Mexican restaurant is great when no one in there speaks English, like at all. And like if you order stuff, like good luck getting the correct order. But if you do, it is amazing food. But I don't know. It's usually great, but I guess it was off that night. But as soon as Jim Harbaugh raised the trophy, I felt like so bad. I went to the bathroom and I didn't leave the bathroom for like 2 hours. It was the worst. So yeah, definitely underwent that recently. Dave says I had the baby monitor behind me last night, which explains my poor performance. Yeah, I always have this thing here. Usually my son sleeps very well. My daughter usually wakes up like once a night. Chris says I've got the 12th slot in this draft, but I'm not showing up on your screen. That's weird. So we have 12s open. Do you still have 12, Chris? Maybe that's why people can't see. Okay, see refresh. Let me refresh the page to see.
I've got him in.
Okay. Yeah, I do too. So okay. All right, we are good to go. I'll hit start draft. So that's weird. Okay, so Kenny, you are up with the first pick. So what are you doing?
Yeah, to me the first pick is Christian McCaffrey. You can make a case for multiple other guys, but I think he's the highest floor and has as much upside as any other player. So I'm confident in taking him in pretty much any format.
Yeah. Well, who you said you can make a case for other guys. Who else would you consider at 1?
I mean, I think you can consider Hall at 1. I think you consider Bijan at 1. Yeah, I think those are the 3 guys that I would consider. I think there's a little bit of a gap between those 3 guys and the next tier of guys, which is for me is Saquon and Jonathan Taylor. But yeah, I think you can make an argument for any of those 3 guys at the top.
So McCaffrey, Hall, Bijan, I'll go. I was hoping for one of them at 104. It's kind of why I chose this pick. I've now drafted every selection. So I the top 2 players on my board are both running backs. However, I've noticed in the second round, usually you have a better chance of getting a running back falling to you who's good than a receiver. So I'm going to go with the receiver and see what happens. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. I think you can go with Hill or one other receiver who I'll name. But I do wonder how that's going to pan out. Lamb. So yeah, in my I've mock drafted almost every night in August, and it's usually like in the middle of the second round, like you have like a 50-50 chance of getting like it's like a tier 2 running back fall to you, but there's no tier 2 receiver falling to you. So that's why I'd go receiver there. But if one of Bijan, Hall, or McCaffrey fall to me, I have them. They're like a tier above every other running back, so I think I would take them, despite what I just said. So.
Yeah, I think in my top 5, I'm still taking. I think if I have a 1 through 5 spot, I think I'm still taking running back. Yeah, I like having one of those guys. Although I mean, I get your point. There's a higher probability of guys dropping in the second round. I just like those. I like Barkley and Jonathan Taylor more than the receivers. So obviously those 2 guys just went.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Barkley, Taylor. Yeah, there's the 2 guys I was talking about who I had above. There's receivers, but I think they're a slight tier below. Kyron Williams goes. He's been slipping. He went into the mid-second round, I think last night. So what do you make of that? Because Sean McVay said that Kyron Williams is going to be the punt returner there. We talked about that a little bit last night. But is that going to scare you off at all?
I mean, I'm already much lower than Kyron Williams and everyone else sees seemingly. So I don't know that I can get much lower than we're at. To me, I wouldn't take him before early 3rd. Honestly, that's kind of where that.
Why don't
I
you like
just,
him?
I don't know. Just watch him play. I mean, I like him as a 3rd-round pick. I love him as a 3rd-round pick. I don't think he's as. I think he's just clearly not as good as the other guys. I watch him play and go, I just think he's as good. Yeah, I think the punt return thing is a little interesting. I mean, if you intend to give the guy 20 carries a game, do you also going to have him return punts? That's a little bit strange expectation. But who knows? I don't know. Sean McVay is not necessarily orthodox in the way he approaches things, so hard to know. Yeah, I just think there's other guys that I just think are more. It's hard to dog a guy who was the, running back 3 last year. In 12 games. So, I think it was a little. I think it was a little bit fluky last year.
My thought process there is that he didn't mean like punt returner every single time. Like maybe he's the punt returner in the 4th quarter. Like the Eagles used to have with Deshaun Jackson, like where he wouldn't return punts all the time, but when the game was on the line, like that Music City, or not the Miracle in the Meadowlands too with Deshaun Jackson. Like maybe in crunch time, Kyron Williams is going to return punts. That's my takeaway. I could be wrong though. I don't quite understand why you'd make your starting running back your punt returner full time. So that's just illogical. So maybe it's just taken out of context or something.
Yeah, it's possible. All that say, Kyron Williams is a good player. I don't think he's as good as other guys. And they drafted a running back in the 3rd round, right? Blake Corum's going to get some action. Kyron Williams has had injury problems dating back to college. I think there's question marks there. I'm not taking him in the 1st round.
Yeah, the injury issue is what I have concern with, but I love him as a player. I think he's a really talented running back. Like the fact that he's matchup proof last year was phenomenal, and the Rams' run blocking is terrific. Like they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. So I think like whoever runs there is going to have success. So, and I do like that McVay likes to focus on one running back handling the workload.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're on the clock.
Yes. So none of the top running backs I was hoping for, or like the 2nd-tier running backs I was hoping for, have fallen to me. Although there is one guy I think I have close to the 2nd tier. Just don't know what his ADP is, but he's. I feel like if I don't take him, he will be gone by 3 or 4. So I'm going to draft him here. It is Kenneth Walker, who I was down on Seattle earlier in the offseason, but then they signed Connor Williams, who's one of the best run blockers in the NFL. And I suddenly have more faith in Seattle just because I was down on them earlier because they lost all 3 interior offensive linemen in free agency. And so I just thought their blocking was going to be bad. But then they signed Connor Williams. So I have more faith in them now. And I like Walker quite a bit. He's super talented. And I was listening to some of the quotes that the coaching staff was talking. I don't know if it was the offensive coordinator or the head coach, but they were talking about how Walker was so explosive and like he can do everything and he's going to be handling the entire workload. Like they didn't mention Charbonnet, and like Charbonnet's been playing in the preseason, whereas Walker hasn't. So it just feels like they have like this plan for Walker to handle a big workload.
Yeah, coaches say a lot of things though. I'm always take it with a grain of salt. I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, I think actions speak louder than words. I mean, they had Charbonnet play in the preseason, whereas Walker did not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I would imagine Charbonnet is going to get a lot of carries throughout the. He's one of my favorite late round players. So I think he's going to get. I would be shocked if he's not getting significant carries. Obviously, Walker's the lead guy, and I love Walker. I think he's great.
Ayuko's, which is interesting. You're up for 2 picks here.
Yeah, so I think I've been more and more leaning toward the idea of, if you're in this position late 2nd round, to actually go 2 receivers if you can here, if there are 2 receivers on the board you really like. There are 2 running backs that I love in this spot right here, but I'm really confident that only one of them is going to make it back to me. But anyway, with that said, I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go 2 receivers here. I'm going to go Debo, my first one here. I mean, so Debo and Ayuk go back to back here. I love Debo Samuel. I think he's great. And there's two running backs I said that I really like in this spot, but I am cautiously optimistic that one of them will make it back to me. At the end of the fourth, probably not actually. No, I'm realizing, yeah. So, but I'm gonna take receiver here anyway. So I'm gonna go. Let's go with Mr. Stefan, no diggity, no doubt, and and I'm gonna intentionally go receiver here just to see how long the running backs last. I want a little bit of an experiment here. So I've actually not drafted in this spot at all, but I think you kind of said it earlier. Maybe the running backs will fall a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so my hope is that maybe I can scoop one of those up late fourth.
Yeah, it's pretty rough drafting here. I was hoping Debo would fall to me. Any worry with McCaffrey plus Debo, that clash?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. It's normally a terrible idea to do it. So, but I'm experimenting a little bit.
Okay. I'm up here. I was hoping for Debo. Like I said, I was hoping for either Debo or Nakua, and they both went. I guess I should have known Nakua would be gone. So I guess if I had to redo that, I think I'd take Nakua and hope Walker would fall to me. But again, Walker may have gone. So this is a rough time to draft. There's like the top players on the board are so underwhelming. I'm gonna go with Joe Mixon. He's gonna handle the entire workload in Houston. So he's just gonna get volume at the very least. And like we saw Devin Singletary last year just come out of nowhere, be unproductive in Buffalo for the most part, and then just become a dominant fantasy player in Houston. So maybe Mixon will have similar success in that offense. So I know you like Mixon as a player. Would you take him in the third round?
I mean, he's one of the guys I was considering there in that spot. So him and one other running back that I love. So, yeah, I think Mixon is a great pick there in the mid-third round.
Okay. So our first quarterback just went. I'm officially off quarterbacks in rounds 3 and 4.
Wow.
I am. We did a draft yesterday. I drafted Mahomes in the 4th round. It was like 405 or something, and I just didn't like how my team looked. And Anthony Richardson won the 9th round. Not that he would fall that far in every draft, but usually like one decent quarterback falls to like the 8th round or 9th round. And I actually did a real fantasy draft on Sunday. And so granted, it was PPR and 3 receiver plus flex, but I got Patrick Mahomes in the 6th round, which was insane. I couldn't believe he was there.
I can't believe he's there in any format.
Yeah, that's crazy. Without Diggs in this economy, I like Diggs. We had a big argument about Diggs on Monday. Let's see.
Another one of the running backs that I was seriously considering is Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
The anti-Diggs sentiments. I went back and watched all of his, his targets from last year.
Yeah.
So many people are saying, "Oh, he's lost a step." Maybe, but when you watch him play, he doesn't look like he's lost a step. He looks fine. I don't know the reason why they totally phased him out of the offense in the last few weeks of the season. There could be any number of reasons why they phased him out. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't know that we'll ever really know. But the number of people online who see on Twitter, especially, who just seem to be thoroughly confident it's because he now sucks. I'm watching it. I don't think he sucks. So if I can get him at a discount, I'm glad to take him.
It's such a small sample size too. That it was half a season where he wasn't as productive, and he was great. It's not like it was a whole season where he just sucked. Like the first half of the season, he was awesome. And then as soon as the new offensive coordinator took over, he just didn't do anything. So there could have been an undisclosed injury. It could have been a bad fit in the offense. I think it's a huge mistake to just give up on him this quickly. So I agree. Interesting here. Team 11 goes triple running back. Team 12 goes triple receiver. It's funny to see it that way. Not that either strategy is bad. It looks odd. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry, my wife just says something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible to build a team effectively, obviously, but
Travis Kelce just won.
I want to be more balanced in the early rounds if I can be.
Yeah. Kelsey went in the 6th round of our draft yesterday, which I was like, even in the 6th round, I was like, I don't know. He almost fell to me. It was like 2 picks away. I was like, I don't know. I think he's so decrepit, like a 34 potentially. I don't know. Would you draft Travis Kelce in the 6th round?
In the 6th round? Yeah, I would take him in the 6th round.
Yeah, I was leaning toward that way. He just might be done though. Like he's 34. He just had a long season. He was so bad during the regular season. I know he had an amazing playoff run, but
yeah, not just amazing. I'm like all time. He was. Right. So I don't know. Like to me, it was like, well, is he done? But like, well, the last time we saw him on a football field, he was all world awesome. So, like, I just can't help but wonder if that's just sort of the, I remember years ago I heard some players for the Patriots talk about this. Like, you kind of get fatigue. Like you get success fatigue. You're just so good throughout the regular season. It's just hard to keep it going. And then when the time comes to actually be where the team needs you, you step it up. And so, like maybe that's the case again. And then like, if that's the case, it makes you nervous that he's going to, suck for the first half of the year. That's not good.
Right.
But in the 6th round, I'll take
especially if it's Taylor Swift distraction.
But in the 6th round, I'll take my shot. In the 4th round, I would not be interested.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it makes sense. I just think I don't know. I think there's some big downside, but it might be kind of like sticker shock of like 6th round. You know what I mean? It's like just don't expect them to be there, and just because he's always going earlier. But I guess you got to be prepared for those scenarios. Just got to ask yourself, like if a player falls, like would I take this player at some point? Because like, obviously there's always a price tag for someone. Like if Travis Kelce hypothetically is in like the 13th round, like obviously you would like no brainer. Like there's no downside at that point.
Obviously, yeah.
But sixth round you're competing with like maybe your second receiver, or third receiver, or a flex guy, like and then Mahomes just goes. So I don't have to make that decision on quarterback. But I don't think I would have taken a quarterback there. So I'm going to be up here. I have an interesting decision to make because there are actually it's not that interesting. I think I will take this guy. There's one running back I like a lot who's left, and I'm going to take him even though he's gone he's gone later in earlier fantasy drafts we've done. And I don't know if you saw the news or saw what happened in this final preseason game, but Tony Pollard got every single touch, or he's on the field every single snap of the first team offense in the final preseason game. And that it's not like Tyjae Spears didn't play. Like Spears was playing with Mason Rudolph. So that tells me that they have big plans for Pollard. They paid him a lot of money, and he looks electric. Like he looks like he's back after not having some of the juice last year. So I think he's going to have a big year. Tennessee's run blocking should be pretty good too. And I like Tennessee overall. They just traded for Ernest Jones. Their defense looks great. I think they're going to have some leads in the second half. Like I think people think this team's going to suck, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they could be like almost a 500 team. So Pollard's going to have some good opportunities here, and so I like him here. I know maybe a little bit early, but I'm kind of worried that he was not going to make it back to me.
Yeah, he would not have made it back to you because Kamara's the guy. So now that I think back, I was thinking about Stephon Diggs versus Alvin Kamara. Those are I was thinking about Diggs at 3-1. So I intentionally passed on him because I wanted to see how long he would last. And here he's being taken at 4.10, which is way longer than I thought he would last. And so because I think he's better than several of the running backs that have already been taken ahead of him. So now in this spot, I feel obligated. I got to take at least one running back in this spot here, and David Montgomery is kind of the last guy I had on a tier that I really liked. So yeah, there's a lot of bums in this spot here. Tony Pollard, I do think that's a little early for him. So I'm gonna take the receiver I love here, and then I'll come back. I'll take Devontae Smith, who I love. I think is great value here in the late 4th. And now I think I'm going to have to just play. I'm going to have to do a little, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to have to really hit on running backs here. So of the guys that are here right this moment, the guy that I like most on talent, but I don't love the situation is Ramondre Stevenson. So, don't love the situation in New England, but of the guys that are left, he's clearly the most talented of the bunch, and so I'll take my chances with him. And then I'm going to have to probably reach a little bit at running back in the next couple rounds here to make sure I get some guys that I like.
I was in a similar position yesterday where I only had like 2 running backs after round 8, or I think. And so I took like 5 running backs in a row starting around 9 until like there were no running backs left at all. So I was in that situation. I feel the same way about Stevenson. Like, yeah, he's a good player. He's just on the worst team in the NFL. So he may not get any touches at all in second halves or many of the second halves. So hopefully he scores touchdowns in the first half. I think that team's going to be horrible. Did you watch that final preseason game with them against the Redskins? Because
I literally have not watched any preseason football since 1999. I've never. So
there was a really funny moment in that game that the offensive line had 8 penalties in the first half alone. Just the offensive line had 8 penalties in the first half, and on the 8th penalty, the official was like, illegal formation once again on the offense. He said once again. That's so funny.
It's so good.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to take a receiver. I really like one of the receivers here, Amari Cooper. He's 31, but he's the best route runner in the NFL. He's going to be able to play until his mid 30s if he wants to, or even like late 30s. Like Jerry Rice is the best route runner of all time. He played until 40. And he was a Pro Bowler at 40, which is kind of insane. Not that Amari Cooper is Jerry Rice, but he's still really talented, and I like him as my second receiver. So Dalton Kincaid goes. So I was kind of like, my team's kind of like the inverse of yours, where you went 3 receivers and a running back. I went 3 running backs and a receiver. So I'm going to be heavy on receiver until my sleeper picks come up, and then I think I'm going to take some running backs and sleepers as well. So Swift goes. I don't like Swift. I can tell I don't. That Whoops team. They're players I don't like. Like Evans is 31. His receivers are old. Adams and Evans, but 31. Swift's injury prone. So that would worry me quite a bit. There's a lot of risk there. Just like quickly looking at the team.
There are several running backs that I like in this stage, and Swift is on talent is comparable to all those guys. There's something about Swift I don't get it. You've had back-to-back coaching staffs with the Detroit Lions and then the Philadelphia Eagles. Back-to-back coaching staff just sort of sour on him, and I wonder if it's something to do with him. Is it a locker room thing? I don't know. So I'm just always nervous. Is this guy going to fade down the stretch? He's a very talented player, but I'm just always nervous that he's going to fade. So Rashee Rice going in the 5th round. That's a little higher than I expected. I mean, if there was 0 chance he would be suspended this year, we knew for sure there was no chance of suspension. Rashee Rice is easily a 3rd round pick. So, him going in the 6th or 7th round most of the summer is baking in the potential for a suspension. I keep seeing his ADP slowly rise up, and I'm thinking most people are realizing the probability of a suspension seems to get smaller and smaller, and I guess he's starting to rise up. I had not seen him go in the 5th at all. So, but it looks like if you're going to want him, you're going to need to get him, a little earlier.
Yeah, he went in the 7th round of my my real draft, the 3 receiver league. So he's kind of like all over the place. I was actually hoping to get him, but he went a couple of picks before me. I wanted to pair him with Mahomes. Ended up getting Marquise Brown in like the 9th round or something, or maybe 8th round. So I actually like how that draft ended up. Such as I actually didn't mean to draft Montgomery. Who did you mean to draft, Cassandra? Sue says Kenny's not utilizing the Monday night Nuggets draft strategy, which was it's quite the team that Nuggets assembled. He had like 3 quarterbacks, and like he stacked all of them together. It was like a great DFS lineup. It just looked like a team that outscored like 300,000 other teams. But he's like full-time DFS player. So let's see here. They says the word you are looking for, Kenny, is bad drafting. Some trash talking before our draft on
what
on
the
Monday.
word? I have no clue what he's talking about. The word I'm looking for? What?
Yeah. By the way, our order is finally gonna be determined on tomorrow. You said, right?
Yeah, I've been trying to convince the guys on our WhatsApp group to use a fab system in our Drut League, but the commissioner Anish basically today said no, we're not going to do that. And I'm like, oh, this is communism, it's tyranny, one man show. So I told him he was gay on the thread today.
I have to get that WhatsApp app, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about this. Walter has never heard of WhatsApp, the third most popular smartphone app in the world. I'm like, you literally you own a website. How do you not know about what's going on in the world?
Well, I don't know. I think it's a chat thing. Like, why? How is it different than mass texting?
It's better.
It's the same thing though.
It's not. It's better.
It's slightly better.
If anyone has used WhatsApp, give us the reasons why it's better than other things.
Or if you haven't used WhatsApp, I thought it was WhatsApp app. It's WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Okay. If you haven't used it and haven't heard of it, let me know because I'll feel better about myself. I never heard of this thing until you told me, and apparently the entire league's on there, and I'm like, what happened to our group email exchange? Because like people stopped replying to it. I feel like
we're all on WhatsApp, and I'm ripping on Anish and Dwayne. It's great.
Because our commissioner was like, he's like, join me on this WhatsApp. And I'm like, I replied to him, I'm like, what's that? And then he never responded. Like that was our last communication. I didn't know what he meant, and then now what you're telling me, it makes sense. So McLaurin just went, which was one of the last receivers in that tier that I was hoping for. So we had McLaurin, Kirk, Pickens, Rice, Pittman, Higgins, all go in that tier. So I was hoping for one of those guys.
I've got Keenan Allen in that same tier in my mind.
Keenan, I missed him. Yes, I have him in that tier too. So yeah, there's one other guy I like, but I've been getting him a little bit later. But I think I'm going to be forced into taking him here because I'm pretty thin at receiver at this moment, and plus it's not like there's not anyone else that I'm looking at and I'm like, oh, I have to take this player. So I'm gonna go with this guy who has a downside for sure. His name's Christian Watson. I think he could have a huge year. I'm sure Mathiasen will not like the pick, but he's so explosive. He has great performances. Like when he's healthy. Javonte Williams is interesting too. If I needed a running back, I would have taken Javonte Williams there. What'd you say?
I actually love him, and I was hoping he'd follow me here.
Yeah, I've really warmed up to him. So you were up at 6-12, so and 701. What are you
doing? Yeah, this is the part where you deviate from your original plan. I've got 4 running backs here that I think are worthy of this pick that would be decent. I have a 5th running back that I think is likely to last to round 8 or 9, but I absolutely love him and think he's worthy of the pick. Do I risk it? If Stevenson was not my number 2 running back, I would be willing to risk it, but I really want this guy, so I'm going to go ahead and take him. I'm going to take Chase Brown, who I think is fantastic talent. I am convinced he's going to be the primary ball carrier there. I think realistically he should be like a 3rd or 4th round pick in terms of talent and opportunity, but his ADP is like 7th or 8th round. Would he have lasted to me back? I don't know, and I didn't want to take the risk. So there are probably other running backs here that may be technically better options, but I just love him here. And then I'm going to take my boy because I am the president of the Jaylen Warren fan club, and so Jaylen Warren, who is clearly a better player than Najee Harris. The Steelers coaching staff doesn't seem to realize that. Maybe this is the year they figure it out. After having started with a very suspect running back pool, I'm feeling much, much better about my options. Stevenson, Brown, Warren, all of those guys have question marks. All of them could flame out. But I feel confident that at least one of them will end up being a really quality contributor.
Yeah, I see like Arthur Smith's watching this mock draft being like, you fools, Cordell Patterson's going to lead this team carries.
Wouldn't surprise me with those guys. Yeah.
I know. Germ says Kelsey would be diagnosed with myocarditis soon. Yes. Yes. Well, we'll see based on the products he's peddling. Mark Andrews goes a little late for Andrews. Gotta like the value there. I'm going to go with another receiver, someone I haven't taken yet, but he's gone earlier. And this guy's just had a great performance in the preseason. Or did he go? Okay. Yeah. Xavier Worthy. There we go. He looked outstanding in the preseason game we played. So a lot of upside there. Marquise Brown's injured, although I do like him as well. Like any of the Chiefs' 3 receivers, I'm happy to take. So, did you get to? I know you said you didn't watch the preseason, but maybe you saw highlights of it or something.
No, I mean I just look at the stat sheets and then mostly ignore it. So
okay, yeah, this is probably for the best. I mean, Kenny Pickett looked like Dan Marino last year.
I read a little bit. Xavier Worthy, he just has a wide spectrum in terms of people's opinions on him.
Mm-hmm.
He ran the fastest 40 time at the combine, but like coming out of college, he had his profile is, I don't watch college football much, so I don't know, but the guys that watch, they seem to say he's not just a speedster. And so I could see him being the kind of guy that translates to the NFL sooner rather than later. I just don't love drafting rookie receivers. For every Odell Beckham, there's 10 Kadarius Tonys. So it's hard to get it. Is it possible that I'm totally wrong and the rookie receivers are worth it? Yeah, I'm willing to be wrong on that. I'm willing to just be like, well, I missed out. That's fine.
Yeah. You're right. I usually don't like taking rookies, but this guy's with Mahomes. Dave says only the best drafters know what I'm talking about, Kenny. But we have some WhatsApp responses here. Cassandra says, I've heard of WhatsApp, never seen it, thought it was some dumb millennial thing. So sounds about right. Chuba Hubbard just went. I was hoping for him to come back. And then Gus Edwards, I don't like Gus Edwards as much. Richardson goes. I was eager to see where he would be drafted after yesterday. But 7-11 seems about right for him. Actually, it seems even you could take him a little bit earlier. Okay, so Carter says I use WhatsApp when I travel internationally because it's universal. Beyond that, I don't quite understand why it's better than iMessage. I don't even know what iMessage is.
Well, iMessage is iPhones.
Okay, I don't have an iPhone. Dave says I'm not on WhatsApp either. I guess it's only for the cool kids. So Dave's in our league. So he's not using it either.
So the guy who's talking about iMessage, basically iMessage is only if you're on iMessage has a bunch of extra bells and whistles if you have a text thread that's all iPhone users. If you have cross-platform users, you lose all those features. WhatsApp basically gives you the iMessage features for anyone, regardless of what platform they have. That's the value of WhatsApp. But if you don't have an iPhone and you don't use iMessaging, you don't realize all the benefits, all the little kind of features that come along with that.
I use text app to communicate.
Right, but you have an Android, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, iMessage is texting for Apple, but there's extra things built into it if you're on a thread of just Apple users. But once you add at least one person who's not an Apple user, it becomes just a standard text thread. WhatsApp allows you to keep the iPhone iMessage special features cross-platform. That's one of the benefits of it.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. CJ Stroud just went. I was really hoping Stroud would fall back to me.
By the way, all the running backs that I had when I was thinking about Chase Brown, and I took Chase Brown and Jaylen Warren.
Yeah,
the guys I was thinking about were Chuba Hubbard, Devin Singletary, Austin Eckler. So all the guys that I was considering have gone. None of them made it back to me.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm like, I was looking at my list. There's like 6 or 7 guys. They're all gone, and I'm like, what do I do here? Like, I usually like to open my sleepers page around round 9 or 10. I've never done it in round 8. We're in sleeper territory here. Actually, there's one guy I still have in this tier. However, he would be a clash with another player, but I don't know, maybe I should still take him. just for the value. It would be a very awkward pick though, like super awkward. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. It's a receiver.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's really nothing else. I think I'm gonna start dipping into my sleepers. That's what we're gonna do. You just scolded me about drafting a rookie receiver. I'm gonna do it again. I don't even like it. I don't like it. But Brian Thomas Jr. is gonna be.
I actually like Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna be starting on the outside in that offense. They lost a lot of air yards on that team. Marquise Brown was the other guy because I just drafted Worthy. I was like, do I draft Worthy and Brown? That's kind of bad. But Deontay Johnson goes. So you're up at 8-12 and 9-11 or 9-01.
Yeah, there is a receiver here. I just think shouldn't be here, and I'm a little confused why he is. Maybe I'm just it's but I'm gonna go Chris Godwin here. Yeah, in the 8th round. I don't get why he's there at the end of the 8th round. That doesn't make any sense. And so I really like my wide receiver core depth there. And then 9th round, I start thinking about quarterback. And there's a quarterback here that I just think shouldn't be here in the 9th round. And that's Mr. Joe Burrow. I think he's an excellent value here at this point of the draft. So I guess I'm shocked he's still there. I could pair up, maybe I did a 3-way stack. I thought about Brock Purdy there briefly. Maybe I could pair him with McCaffrey and Debo, basically kind of like a DFS lineup. But but I really like Burrow this year a lot. So in the 9th round, he's too good to pass up.
Yeah, maybe I should have taken Burrow. I don't know. I was thinking about it on the 9th round. So I like that pick a lot. We have more WhatsApp stuff. Chris says you can see if people have read your text. Easier to make chat groups. Easy to make calls and video calls. Use Wi-Fi. Good for when some people use Apple. Some people use Android. And then, but Sue is asking, is that another Chinese data mining operation?
No, it's actually owned by Facebook. It's funny enough.
So is it a Chinese mining operation?
I don't think so. It's an American CIA mining operation.
Okay. Yep. I don't know if you've seen. Actually, just I reposted an AI video that it's so weird. There's it's Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Elon Musk, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, President Xi, and the Pope. And they're they show up to people's houses with guns and stuff, or not for some reason Kim Jong-un has a scythe he shows up with, it's it's the weirdest video. It's so funny, but I was bringing that up because Mark Zuckerberg's there too, and he has a lizard on his shoulder because he's a lizard person. It's so good. I reposted it on my Twitter, so you guys haven't seen it, check it out. I was dying. It's so good. So I'm looking at a quarterback here. Who hasn't taken a quarterback? Scary Hours is not, and CFL 012 hasn't. And I don't really love anyone here, so I'm going to. I'm also going to take a quarterback. Being guilty of this Cardinal sin and going with Jordan Love here. And I like that he pairs with Christian Watson, my third receiver. So no cookie Jordan Love, who's featured in that expose that I wrote about how the 2020 MVP was stolen. What do you think about Jordan Love?
I love him. I think he's great. I think he's the kind of guy that I typically in a home league. I expect a guy like Joe Burrow to be gone in the by round 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So Jordan Love and there's one or two other guys that I think when we draft next Monday in our home league, I think realistically Jordan Love is the kind of guy that I'll be targeting at this point in the draft.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah. The quarterbacks tend to go earlier in our draft. We have a guy who took Mahomes number 4 overall last year. So it just goes to show how early they can go. Let's see. Mega says my home league flex options: Pollard, Hollywood, Brian Thomas Jr. or Dontavian Wicks. But my 10 is my sleeper: Colby Parkinson. Walter hates him. I just think that like Parkinson's the blocking tight end in LA. It's the spicy meatball. What's his name? Davis Allen is the tight end that you want, I think. So we like that Davis Allen. He almost helped me win $60,000 in week 18 last year, but I foolishly pivoted from James Conner to Zamir White, and that cost me $60,000.
It's a rough day, man. It's a rough day.
It was horrible. We had the Carson Wentz stack. We talked about it on our Wednesday show on DraftKings, our DraftKings show. We're like, we love Carson Wentz, stacking with Davis Allen, and like we had like the team that we talked about. Like I ran that lineup basically. Like I made like one adjustment or something, and had I not pivoted from Connor to White, I would have won the $100 SPY on DraftKings, which was $50K to first. And I would have finished like 10th in the main contest at that lineup. So that would have been another 10K. So 60K, and I ended up with less than 1K with my results. So
it's heartbreaking.
It is yeah, it's brutal, you know. But you know, it's not nearly as bad as our friend Mike, who had that $960,000 blocked extra point return for 2. Which is brutal. It sucks that interview is gone. We had an interview with him, but we had to delete some videos from our show. So let's see. John says, I miss the days when you couldn't use the phone and go on the internet at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, you would remember that you'd log on to AOL and then like someone would call you and be like, stop calling me, and you just get kicked off. Right.
Looks like is it Chris in this 12 spot going with a zero, going kind of with that zero RB strategy and just kind of stocking up our guys late here. I also just queued up Josh Palmer in my queue, so I thought he'd make it back to me. I had Jordan Addison in my queue.
Oh, I thought you were down on. I thought you were down on Palmer. I didn't think you liked him.
I mean, late 10th, early 11th, I'm fine with him.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I just seen him going earlier than that, so I think maybe his ADP has come back to earth a little bit, maybe more.
Fair enough. Carter says, I look at rookie receivers. My fantasy team's almost all rookies after the first 2 rounds normally. I'm not a fan. I think usually like the problem with them is like they're overhyped and they tend to get drafted earlier than they should.
Yeah, they're always overpriced. Yeah,
right. But if they weren't overpriced, I'd be fine with them. It's not the inexperience; it's the hype. So if you get them good value, I think that's fine. Trump says Kobe Parkinson, good luck with that. Yeah, he's just the blocking tight end. I'd rather have Davis Allen. Sue says Sanders must have used one of those dial-up pioneers. Yeah, I remember the buzzing sound the modem used to make. And Carter says, if I knew I could get Kyler here with MHJ, I would have drafted Nico Collins instead. Yeah, that's the theme of these mock drafts that we've done. Like these quarterbacks, you just get great value with them late. So I think I would just advocate just waiting on them. Unless like you get an amazing value, like Mahomes in the 6th round in my real league, for example.
Right.
Just wait for the great value with quarterbacks. Like Burrow, Love is amazing, and Kyler Murray was just mentioned. I mean that's tremendous value in the 10th round for the Murray.
I agree. I concur.
All right, so I'm up again, and if I didn't take Jordan Love in the 9th round, I actually think I would have drafted this guy with that spot, and he's still available as far as I can tell. So I'm going to take him. I've been drafting him a lot, and I will continue to do so. So Ray Davis, who might take over as the full-time running back in Buffalo. Even if he doesn't, he's going to be the goal line back at the very least. So I'll get some value out of that. But given that James Cook he's fumbling a lot. He was fumbling a lot in training camp. He's not like that great anyway. Like I think there's a chance Ray Davis just takes his job. So you are up right now at 10-12.
Excuse me.
That's it.
I didn't get to the mute button in time there. All right. Let's okay, bottom of the 10th. There's some running there's 2 late round running backs here I like. Again, I got to go back to the well. I'm the president of the fan club. You know who it is. You love him. I love him. Everyone's favorite Chicago Bear, Mr. Khalil Herbert. He's the most talented player on the team. I think he's one of the more talented players. He's the most talented running back on the team, and he's he's a great talent. And it looks like he's going to be in Chicago, not get traded. I was holding out hope he'd be traded to a team that maybe would actually use him.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just going to hold out hope that the Chicago Bears staff eventually realizes that they have a gem in Khalil Herbert, and I've got a gem in round 10. And now in round 11, I'm going to go tight end. I'm going to have my quarterback and my tight end before the end of round 11. This is remarkable, but he is a top 5 tight end in talent, and he's in a great system. That's one Mr. Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is a victim of the system. There's a lot of other guys getting a lot of balls thrown their way. So Goddard is the victim of that. In that, you're on the clock there.
Yeah, I love Goddard. I actually got him in the 13th round yesterday, which I couldn't believe. It just goes to show you that you can wait on these tight ends. Going to go with another rookie running back, Braylon Allen. He's the number 2 on the Jets. He catches passes. He can get goal line work. Super talented guy. If Breece Hall goes down, like if Hall went down tomorrow, Braylon Allen would be like a 3rd round pick. So, the big fan of him there. I try to get him and or Ray Davis late. I got them both. So, like I said, I was going to take some late round flyers who can win leagues for me. It's once you get to the double digit rounds, like you want to draft guys who could be league winners for you. And obviously, like Davis and Allen may never play for me, but at least I'm taking a swing for the fences with them because they have amazing upside.
Yeah, I agree.
CB Trees says, do you think Musgrave can separate himself from Tucker Kraft this season? I don't know what to make of that situation. Like, obviously Musgrave is the favorite to get the most targets out of the tight ends, but I feel like they're going to use both. But I'd rather have Musgrave. Do you have any read on that situation?
No, I think Musgrave is clearly a better player.
Yeah.
But it's not like, while like Musgrave is clearly better, he's not so much better than Kraft that the Kraft's not going to be mixed in. And their skill set kind of overlaps. There's not like this one guy is receiving and another guy's blocking. They kind of have some matching, overlapping skills. So you could easily see that team end up being kind of, you're just using both of those guys. The other thing more than that, though, is they've got a lot of receivers on that team that I think are all going to be in the mix. Like they're going to have 4 receivers that are all getting carry or getting targets. So I'm just not sure there's going to be enough targets for any of those tight ends to really make them either one all that valuable. So while I think Musgrave is the better option, I don't know that he's a great option. He's a good talent, but I think the situation makes me nervous to have to rely on him.
Yeah, I mean he's a late round guy that you'd like to take. If like all the guys are gone, like you're okay with him, but ideally you can get someone better. Bagley says I really like Musgrave as a sleeper tight end this year, but I never end up with him because I always end up getting Josh Jacobs earlier. So yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, you don't like there are a bunch of similar tight ends you can get late, so that kind of makes sense. Joey says, "What's up, Walter? Just did my draft for my league. That's why I missed this. I love my team." Well, let us know what that is, Joey. Kind of, I want to see what you ended up with. Matthias says Goddard is a tight end that I'm up 4 points, and that's my opponent tight end. And last play, I'm super confident I can win. Okay, so you're just not confident he's going to get 40 yards? Is that what that means?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Jordan Mason just went. I wanted to take him at 11:04. I just wanted to see where he would go. I'm going to get like a feel of where his new ADP is with Elijah Mitchell out for the year. So yeah, that's a good pick, Slew. Because Mason, if McCaffrey goes down, like suddenly Mason is the primary back there.
Yeah, that we know of.
Well, he was on the field every snap in the preseason game, the final preseason game, and he looked good. Like he actually looked like a good player. With a Mitchell gone, it's like who else is there? Like is it Garendo? Like maybe, but I think that I think it's gonna be Mason. I like that pick. Brock Bowers goes 12th round. That's more proof that you can wait on tight ends. So, A bunch of running backs just went, like a bunch of sleeper, like Kamani Vidal. I was hoping he'd come back to me. Bucky Irving, Ricky Pierce.
Irving's probably the guy of all these guys that I probably am most intrigued by. One, because his skill set. Again, I don't watch college football. I'm just reading what scouts say, but several scouts have said, "Hey, this guy, if you were going to pick a team's system that fit his skill set, like it would be like Irving is the guy. Like it's a perfect match in terms of what the coaching staff wants to do and what his skill set is."
Yeah.
And I just think the guy ahead of him, Rashad White, sucks. So, like, if you're a young running back that's maybe not super talented, but you fit the system really well and you're willing to work hard, and the guy ahead of you sucks, I think that gives you I think there's a pathway him to potentially be successful in the particularly the second half of the year. So I think of the guys that just went, Irving's the one that kind of intrigues me the most.
Yeah, I can definitely get behind that. I like Irving quite a bit, and I agree that Rashad White's not that good. He's a really good receiver out of the backfield, but as a runner, he's just really not there. So I'm on board with that. Bigsby, another one that I like. He's he did not look good last year, but it seems like he's improved his game this offseason. I like the way he's played so far in the preseason. So, Tyron Tracy goes. I am up now. There are 2 sleeper running backs I have left, so I'm going to take one of them. And it is a clash with a guy you took. So you said Khalil Herbert. I'm going to take Roschon Johnson. Roschon Johnson did not play in the preseason following the first game. As with DeAndre Swift, they're both held out, and they were showcasing Herbert a lot. I think they were trying to trade him. Well, Shipley goes. So there's my hope that I can get Shipley on the way back. So
Michael Wilson is going. Is one of the guys I had just teed up. So I'm going to take one of my sleeper running backs here that I love. And so Mr. Dylan Lobe. First of all, white running backs, just like it's like a unicorn, You gotta get one when you get a chance.
Yes.
But listen, Xavier White sucks. Or Zamir White, whatever his name is. He's not even good enough for me to know his name. He sucks, and he's like shouldn't be drafted in the first 10 rounds, maybe. And again, this is another. I don't watch college football. I'm just reading what different scouting guys have said. Hey, this guy is a great fit, not a super talented guy, but he's a decent player and a great fit behind a veteran that sucks. And so the other guy, I'm going to take a 13th round flyer on Mr. Jerry Jeudy. Very interested in Jerry Jeudy in Cleveland. He has been incredibly talented, but he is the epitome of bonehead. He puts the bone in head. I mean, the guy is just dumb and doesn't work. There's all sorts of rumors that he doesn't work hard. He's a terrible locker room guy, but he's only 24 years old. He's an incredible talent. He's a great route runner. He just drops, and he's just again bonehead bad locker room guy. Can't help but wonder. I just wonder if a new situation wakes him up and maybe gives him an opportunity. Maybe Watson bounced back a little bit. Maybe this offense is a little bit better. New coaching staff, maybe better situation, and kind of wakes up Jerry Jeudy. Maybe not. Maybe he's terrible, and I'm cutting him by week 3 or 4. But in round 13, I'm willing to take a shot that maybe if he wises up a little bit, maybe he can kind of recapture some of the expectations that were on him a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean the upside's certainly there. He has never lived up to it, but he could. Like you said, he's still young. So I'm going to take my tight end, Jake Ferguson, just proof that you can wait until the 13th round to get a tight end. Like last night, that Dallas Goedert went 13th round. Jake Ferguson here. He's basically the number 2 receiver on the Cowboys. They don't, as long as they don't have a viable number 2 receiver, he's going to be getting a ton of targets. So very happy to get Ferguson here. And if I'm the cash Cowboys, I'm very happy to get Kyler Murray at 13.05. That is insane value. Like that's crazy. I know Murray has this huge injury risk, but like that's crazy. I've not seen him fall that far. Just proof that you can wait on these quarterbacks and tight ends.
But He also took Josh Allen in round 3. So
well, I have to scroll up to see that. Yeah, that's well. Then I don't like it as much. So maybe I don't know. Maybe he's doing the mock draft for the first time or second time, and he's looking at this. It's a good learning lesson where you go, okay, I used the 3rd round pick on Josh Allen, but I was able to get Murray in the 13th round. So maybe I don't take Josh Allen. Maybe instead of Allen, maybe I go. I have a good RB1 and I go Aaron Jones or James Cook or James Conner or Rashad White. Instead of Josh Allen, and then I could still get Murray in the 13th round. And there's still some good quarterbacks left too. So, yeah, just I would highly recommend just don't try to force the issue with these quarterbacks. Just wait, and you're going to get a great value. Like I got my real league with Mahomes in the 6th round. Like there are going to be 1 or 2 opportunities in your draft to get a great value quarterback. So just take one there.
Right.
So Joey says, hold on. He has his team here. McCaffrey, Olave, Kenneth Walker, Devontae Smith, Kincaid, Javonte Williams, Joe Burrow, Keenan Allen, bench Christian Watson, Chuba Hubbard, Joe Burrow, quarterback. Yeah, that looks like a really good team to me. I like the team a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think McCaffrey, Olave, Ken Walker, 3rd round pick, Smith in the 4th, Kincaid. I just think that's too. You're probably taking your tight end there way too early, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think other than that, there's a lot of great value there. Love Keenan Allen, love Watts on the bench, love Joe Burrow, quarterback. Yeah, I think there's a lot of great value there.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that's like the one thing I would say. Like, you could probably have drafted another tight end. Look, like I got Jake Ferguson in the 13th round. You can get Ferguson 13th round, and maybe you can get another running back instead. So, yeah, it's a good team. It's a good team though. Drafting rookies a boom or bust move. I don't care for 3rd. It's fair. It's fair. Joey says someone took Kamara round 1. Wow, Jared Goff round 2. And Dylan and I couldn't stop laughing. That's insane. And he had the number 2 pick. Okay. Megan says, what do you think about Samaje Perine at Kansas City now? That hurts a little bit for Pacheco, I should say, but I don't know. I still think like Andy Reid was really talking up Pacheco. Maybe that's just an insurance policy. Like if Pacheco were to get injured, like I suppose they'd run at CEH as the main back, or who knows, maybe Carson Steele, and then Samaje Perine as the 3rd down back. That's what I can think of. But what do you think about that move?
I think Samaje Perine sucks and nothing to worry about.
Fair enough.
Like, remember that time he cost the Bengals a Super Bowl championship? Yeah, I remember. You remember? I remember.
I remember. So I was going to take one of these Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams quarterbacks. So they didn't fall to me. Not that I needed a quarterback, but I thought maybe you can trade for one of them. I think 14th round for them is insane. And if one of them goes nuclear, I could trade one of my quarterbacks. That's what I was thinking here, because all my sleeper running backs are gone. So I'm gonna go with a sort of sleeper receiver, I guess. It is Darnell Mooney. We had this discussion. I got his Rainmaker card, and it didn't end up mattering because Rainmakers was canceled, unfortunately. Yeah, he's the receiver 2 in Atlanta. They have Kirk Cousins there. Like, they're going to be throwing a lot. And he had a great year 3 years ago. It just hasn't done anything since, but he's played with bad quarterbacks, or at least bad passing quarterbacks. So I think there's a chance he ends up being good. Or he could just sucks. But he's my 14th round pick. So like, what else you can do down here with no sleeper running backs left?
I am. There are several guys on the board here I like here in the spot. Demario Douglas just went. He's one of the guys that I was thinking about. There's some tight ends here on the board that are still good. There's some quarterbacks here on the board I'd be fine with rolling out week 1 if I had to. So in real life here, unless I had to draft a kicker, I would not, but I will draft a defense. But so I'm looking at the guys I like. There's 3 guys. There's 1 running back and 2 receivers that really should have already been drafted. At least 2. The receivers should be drafted. The fact that they're still there is sort of crazy to me. And so I'm gonna take both of the receivers, and then I'll talk about the running back if he happens to get taken way back. But I'm gonna go Brandon Cooks and Marvin Mims. Brandon Cooks, obviously not the player he once was, but last year he was still mostly productive when he was healthy. To get the number 2 receiver, in theory, I mean, I know you said Jake Ferguson's the number 2, but of the wide receivers on the team, he's going to be the second most targets in the late 14th round. The last pick of the 14th round seems sort of absurd. I'm not saying Brandon Cooks is a high draft pick, but the fact that he's in the 14th seems ridiculous. And Marvin Mims, I think, is a really good player, good talent who I think, if he takes a step forward, he can be great. If that offense is even mediocre this year, if they're not absolutely terrible, if they're mediocre, then Marvin Mims will be a quality contributor. He's not going to be a starter and everything in fantasy, but he's a guy you can use in a flex spot or bye week fill in as you need him. So yeah, I really like Marvin Mims. In real life, I wouldn't have drafted both of those guys here, but I just wanted to talk about them.
Yeah, I don't like the situation for Mims. Good pick with Noah Brown. I just forgot about him. He just signed with the Redskins today. You know what? I'm gonna take in honor of that. I just didn't know what I was gonna do here. In honor of that, I'm gonna take another guy who was signed. Tim Patrick signed with the Lions. So maybe he's the receiver 2 for Detroit if Jameson Williams continues to suck. No, with Marvin Mims, I think that I don't like the fit. The quarterback they have is a check down machine, but the talent is definitely there. Like, he's a great downfield threat. So if Bo Nix is better than I think he is, then yeah, he could be really productive.
In round 15.
Yeah, no, why not? What else is down here? All the sleeper running backs are gone. Like, who would you take? Like, I know we're not supposed to discuss like players not drafted, but it's whatever. It's 15th round. Like, who would you take here?
Keaton Mitchell from Baltimore is the one guy that I would consider there as well.
Fair enough. He's not going to play for a while because he's coming out to 20 ACL. He's on the PUP list. Kendra Miller is on the PUP list. Elijah Mitchell out for the year. Damian Pierce kind of sucks.
Keaton Mitchell's on the PUP list?
Yes, Keaton Mitchell. Yeah, he's come out to 20 ACL.
He's not listed on the PUP.
They said they were going to put him on the PUP list.
Oh, I guess I didn't see. Okay, I didn't see it wasn't listed on the PUP officially. So,
yeah, I saw the report. I actually put that in my Excel sheet. I have an injury Excel sheet. So I saw the report and I put that on there. He's coming up to 20 ACLs and that he suffered in December. So it's gonna be a while until he plays. Like, he might play like second half of the year, but I'd be surprised if he plays like before Halloween. So, which is a shame because he's so explosive, like really talented player. But I was considering McMillan as well. Just don't know the upside. I wish like they had a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. But he's an intriguing player, I think. I actually like Jalen McMillan. He's obviously stuck behind Evans and Godwin, but one of those guys goes down, like he's going to be productive, I think. Just wish it was a better situation for him. George Play asking, is Dalvin Cook worth a stash? Dalvin Cook is very washed up. Even if he gets opportunities, I don't think he's going to do anything with them.
Yeah, it's hard to really have a lot of confidence in that.
Yes. So Kincaid in the 6th is late, if you ask me. Kincaid in the 6th is not bad. The 5th is, I think, a little too early.
I wouldn't be looking at him in the 6th. Yeah, I don't think that's ideal, but that's me.
I just think that he could have a Travis Kelce 2022 type season, given what Buffalo lost at receiver. I think like those yards have to go somewhere. Those targets have to go somewhere. And I think it could go to Kincaid. But I just don't like taking the tight end in the top 5 rounds. But 6th round, I'm comfortable going there. Jordan Whittington's a good player. I don't know if he's going to get any opportunities with Nakua and Kupp soaking up all the targets, but he's a guy I think could be the 3rd receiver on that team. It's funny that he and Demarcus Robinson went back to back when Robinson actually had a solid finish to last year. But Whittington's a rookie. He's his 6th round pick, I think. He was really impressive, I thought, in the preseason. Like, he was. Like the Rams, they don't play any of the starters, but he was consistently getting open, just making like back shoulder catches. Like he looked like he belonged. And they didn't play him in the final preseason game because I guess Sean McVay kind of like realized he's like, hey, this guy might be a player for us. So that's someone to make note of. I don't know if he's going to do anything this year, unless like if Kupp goes down, then maybe you can pick him up on the waiver wire. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. The Lions says, what kind of sick F says, yeah, I'm taking Tracy, a running back from the New York Giants, over Kyler Murray in the 12th round. Well, who drafted Tracy? Well, so he already had Josh Allen. So, like, I think maybe the Cash Cowboys looking at this pick and like just kind of steel man this. Like, yeah, like why would you take Murray if you have Allen? But like Murray is a great value there. And if someone else has an injury quarterback, he could have a trade option. That's I think that's where you go with that, because you're never going to play Murray over Allen.
No.
But you could have like a trade target for sure. I get it. That's his nice pick. While Tim Patrick has more upside than Williams. I don't know if I like Tim Patrick. He's 30, but still, like he's a good receiver. Sleeper has Mitchell, Pup, and Red. And Josh Allen plays the Jets twice, which is usually bad news for Josh Allen, which is true. I guess it depends who the Cardinals play that week, right? Yeah. So I'm obligated to go Travis Dye ever since someone took him in the 5th round. So we have to clear that out. This is the penultimate mock draft that we're doing, by the way. Tomorrow night's going to be our last mock draft. I said we're going to do a mock draft every episode in August, and I kept my word. So tomorrow night will be the night of the 30th, and we're not doing a show on Friday night. It's my one of my friend's birthdays, so I'm hanging out with him. And then Saturday night, technically, it's going to be the 1st, so we're going to have Tom on for a show. So, yeah, that is our penultimate draft. It's our last standard draft. We're going to do a PPR draft of sorts tomorrow night. So talk about my team. I went Hill early.
What is that thing? What is PP? What is this thing you speak of?
Penultimate?
No, PPR.
PPR. Yeah.
I don't know what that is. What is?
I know you're not a big PPR guy, right?
No, it's just. I mean, I prefer to play, real fantasy football.
Well, I don't think you'd be a fan of this league. I talked about the league on Sunday. It's 3 receiver and a flex PPR, and it's also a quarter point per carry league as well.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so I was like kind of scheming. I was looking at like the league leaders in carries. I was looking at quarterback rushes, which I thought Murray would have way more rushes than Mahomes, and they're actually like kind of on a per game basis, they're kind of close. So Lamar Jackson was the first quarterback taken in that league because the carry upside. But I was thinking like, wait, Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts also run. So it's a weird format. Not that I'm opposed to it. Like I'm clearly in the league. It's just like you have to like think about it differently and just like worry and like focus on the bell cow backs. Like I noticed that Chuba Hubbard was 9th in carries last year. So I was like, I already liked Hubbard. So anyway, as far as my team's concerned, I went Hill early and I was hoping to get running backs. I was hoping to get like ATN or Pacheco or Jacobs on the way back. That didn't happen. I got Kenneth Walker, who's okay. Ideally, I would take him at 304, but it's kind of like the rough spot of where you're drafting. So Walker, Mixon, Pollard, my top 3 running backs, and then it took some sleepers at the end. Davis Allen, Roschon Johnson. Would have taken more sleepers, but they're all gone by the 13th round. My receivers: Hill, Cooper, Watson, Worthy, Thomas. 2 rookies mixed in there, but I think this group has a lot of upside. Love Jordan Love in the 9th. Love Ferguson in the 13th. So great values there. So pretty happy with this team. Not like I don't think it's great. Could have been better. I think. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done otherwise. I wonder if they could have waited on a quarterback because Murray, Daniels, and Williams are such great values there. But I think Jordan Love in the 9th round is great. So, all right. So, what do you want to talk about your team? You're sorry. Yeah, there you go.
I got booted out of the studio room there for some reason. I don't know. That was weird. Okay. All right. Team here. I started off. I was a little nervous the way I started. I'm like, man, but I actually really like this team the way it ended up. I think I've got a good combination of depth and upside, and so it's usually rare to get both of those. So, McCaffrey and Debo probably caps me a little bit with this team. Maybe not ideal. Diggs, Devontae Smith, love the receiving core. I think with Godwin, Minks in there, I got some upside with late round guys. Running back core, I think, is good. Obviously, McCaffrey's going to, I think, be great. And I think, the rotation between Stevenson, Chase Brown, and Jalen Warren, you just play the matchups, whoever has a better matchup. And maybe, throughout the, maybe not immediately, but as the season wears on, I could see Chase Brown and Jalen Warren being the primary ball carriers in those team. And maybe the, Stevenson early in the year is in my rotation, but I could easily see Chase Brown and Jalen Warren kind of being the main two guys that I rotate between as a second spot there, with Stevenson being kind of a flex type option. Khalil Herbert is the most talented running back on the team, and we'll see what happens with him. Love Joe Burrow in the 9th and Dallas Goedert in the 11th. I think it's hard to do better than that. So, I think overall I like the team. I drafted the Chargers last pick because they play the Raiders week 1. And so the proposition of going against my defense going against Gardner Minshew and or Aiden O'Connell is it's good for at least 1 or 2 turnovers. So that's exciting. I'll play the Chargers week 1 against Raiders.
I like the other side of that as well. Raiders versus Chargers. The Raiders had the number 7 EPA defense last year, and Justin Herbert is dealing with a plantar fascia injury. So, I think that game could be like 10-9 or something. It's something ridiculous. Which is going to be a stark contrast to Jaguars Dolphins, which might be like 49-42. So I'm be playing a lot of those guys in DFS. All right, so let's get to the other teams. Cassandra, my son's awake or something. I might have to head out. So real quick, Cassandra, Breece Hall, HM Montgomery. It's good. It's a good start. I'm not a big fan of HM. Second, third is okay. But he said because Cassandra didn't want to take Montgomery, so I guess that was an accident. But Ayuk, Dell, Reed, I don't know what's going to happen to Ayuk. He hasn't shown up; he's not traded, so there's a lot of risk here. It's good players, just like some risk. Jerome Ford, I like in the 7th round. I think overall it's good. I feel like Brock Purdy could have done like why not Kyler Murray there? Not that I hate Brock Purdy, it just feels like with Murray, Williams, and Daniels there was more upside. But Sutton I don't like that much. Michael Wilson I like though. Douglas more so PPR. Algier has some potential there. So it's some things I like about this team, but I think there's a lot of risk as well. So do you want to talk about this? I think I'm sorry to cut this off. I think I actually have to get going. My son who's sick, he's awake. So
all right.
I think I have to get going. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could review the rest of the teams here. But I have to get going. So duty calls.
You the man, Walt.
So thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. I'm going to head out. Thanks, Kenny. Go to thecapsfake.com. It's Kenny's site, and I'll talk to you later.
You the man.